6-yard catch and run by Kelsey.
Lamar Jackson, he'll keep it on the read option, and he flips in for the go-ahead touchdown.
Edwards-Helaire fumbles the ball.
The Ravens have recovered. It is 4th down and 1.
I'm like, man, I got to get this first down no matter what.
He's got a gap. He's got a first down. And it is party time in Baltimore.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We get the people!
What they want. The people got what they wanted last night in the marquee matchup of Week 2. It was the Chiefs and the Ravens, Mahomes and Lamar going toe-to-toe, trading blows. And Lamar Jackson and the Ravens went for it on 4th and 1 and got it and got the victory. What did you think about that huge Ravens win?
Lamar versus Mahomes. Styles upon styles upon styles is what they have. And Edwards-Helaire, hold on to the football, young fella. Can't be fumbling in that situation. But shout to the Ravens defense for making the play. I'm pretty sure Ray Lewis, who brought him out there in the introductions, was proud of that. Since both of these quarterbacks have been in the league, Mahomes has led the NFL in passing as a quarterback. Lamar in rushing as a quarterback. Lamar had lost 8 total games, 3 of them to the Kansas City Chiefs. And going to the game, he said, it was just another game. Did he celebrate like it was just another game? Absolutely not, because it wasn't. And it was a fantastic game. And the thing I want people to start back doing is respecting Lamar Jackson, the former Heisman Trophy winner, the former NFL MVP. I'm starting to hear some of these conversations about quarterbacks where his greatness gets dismissed. Wins like that prove how he is trending towards elite. And by the way, it looks different. Like when your coach looks at you and says, should we go for it on 4th down? And they literally run it up the middle, that looks different from that position, Jacoby.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins is out, Edwards is out. They got like 19 people on injured reserve.
Yeah.
They like,
Coach Harbaugh knew he was going to say yes. Coach Harbaugh knew he was going to say yes. Of course he's going to say yes. You think he's going to be like, no, let's go punt? Of course not. And they got that huge first down. Lamar Jackson did a flip into the end zone, Jalen Rose. He did a flip into the end zone. It's so normal now for him to have over 100 yards rushing and over 250 throwing. It's just so normal. It's what we expect from him. What an amazing performance from him and the Ravens. And it also showed the Chiefs are not unbeatable. The Chiefs are not unbeatable.
No.
They shut down Cheetah. The Chiefs are beatable. They need to stouten up that defense. That defense needs to be better. The defense needs to be better.
But one thing we better make sure we do, put some respect on the Honey Badger, because he came to play. And you know that game-changing defensive back position is my favorite. And a couple of picks, including a pick 6 to start the game, he came ready to rock.
Also ready to rock were the Dallas Cowboys. It came down to the very end, and in the end, the Cowboys put the ball through the uprights to get the win in Los Angeles against the Chargers. But Jalen, was this more about Ezekiel Elliott or Pollard?
How about this? When you talk about Zeke, right before the end of the second quarter, imagine if that CD Lamb pitch to Ezekiel Elliott would have scored a touchdown. That would have been an amazing play. But it was about the Dallas offensive line and keeping holes open for Zeke, but also open for Pollard. And you know what I was watching the game thinking? Based on the contractual demands of Ezekiel Elliott's position and what he has earned with the team, Pollard might be their guy after this year. Let me just say that Pollard might be their guy after this year, because I saw him get over 100 yards rushing, and he was really hitting the holes. And I know the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff really likes him.
There were 2 touchdowns in this game that were taken back because of flags, which really affected the outcome. However, as you mentioned, It looked a lot more like Pollard's day than Ezekiel Elliott's day, and you have to wonder if that will continue for the Cowboys because they certainly are paying Ezekiel Elliott more than they're paying Pollard, and these are the 2 touchdowns that we mentioned that were taken back because of the referee.
And also, when the Dallas Cowboys are involved, conspiracy theorists are going to come out from all over because an 0-1 Cowboys getting 2 touchdowns taken off the board by an opponent, that becomes big news. In particular, when I disagree with the call. In particular, the motion one. I disagree with the call. And so for the Chargers, it's unfortunate those calls went against them. But Cowboys, y'all got lucky. They got lucky, Jacoby. You and I both know it. And that field goal wasn't a chip shot. That wasn't 36. That wasn't 46. That was 56 yards. Okay, they needed every piece of his toenail in order to get that thing through the uprights. So they squeaked past with a victory.
Well, they got that victory, and as you mentioned, astutely, the offensive line was the key to this one for the Cowboys. Hopefully they can continue that if you are a Cowboys fan. Jalen, the Bucs look good. Tom Brady and the Bucs look good. Again, they're just playing the Falcons, but Brady, Gronk, just lighting up the Falcons. How many touchdowns did he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns for Brady.
Tom Brady has been surgical, Jacoby. And when he talks about playing till he's 50, and I know he took a big hit yesterday that cost him the fumble, but I was thinking, he rarely gets hit. And you know what else I was thinking? I want to challenge Gronk in the race. Like they got so many weapons, dog. You got LeGarrette Blount. You got Evans. I told you he was going to feed Evans. I told you he was going to feed Evans this week. You got to keep your guys happy. But Gronk out there, Gronk got like 6 touchdowns in his last 3 games. Remember when he was retired?
He was retired.
He was retired, dog. He teams back up with Tom Brady, and he looks like a Mack truck out there running. Like, seriously. And for all intents and purposes, when it gets near him, that catch radius is insane based on his size. And so he and Evans, that was their game to shine. Tom Brady, 5 touchdown passes. We knew that he was going to get his numbers against the Atlanta Falcons.
It feels like Rob Gronkowski doesn't even want to be a professional football player, but it's just like Brady just asked him, he's doing it as a favor, and he scores 2 touchdowns every time he puts his cleats on. Every single time he puts his cleats on, he gets 2 touchdowns. I honestly don't feel like he wants to be a professional football player. He retired. He had a party boat, and now he's out here partying his way to 2 touchdowns every time he takes the field. Jalen, we adopted the Cardinals last year, and I am so happy that we did. It wasn't a blowout. They barely beat the Vikings, but they did beat the Vikings. And, Mr. Rose, here is what the radio call for the Vikings had at the end of the game. This is a tough one.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is good! No, he missed it. Good. Are you kidding me? He missed it right.
He missed it right.
Oh, my heavens.
That was the margin of error. That was the margin of error. Even the radio call for the Vikings thought that they made the field goal at the end, and they did not, and they lost 34-33.
I don't blame the announcer. You know, in those stadiums, he could be seated very far away, and he was really enthusiastic to try to see the home team win. This game was happening simultaneously as the Dallas Cowboy game. And I was thinking that the Cowboy 56-yard field goal was probably going to miss, and this one was actually going to make, and it happened in reverse. But the main thing that stood out to me, and shout out to our guy Thielen. I seen him out there doing his touchdown dance for the Vikes. But what stood out to me, and of course D-Hop gonna get a touchdown, that's just what he does, is that Kyler Murray literally looks like the young upstart kid that's playing against adults, and it's flag football, and you can't even pull a guy's flag. Like, that's literally what it looks like. You see him turning around in the pocket, Jacoby, navigating, throwing it up the field, 70-yard plays down the field. Like, he's extraordinary to watch play. And here's what I like about him, too. Friend of the show, by the way. Put him in fast forward, absolutely. Because Kyler Murray, you know what I like about him? That's a little mean dude. Like, he's a mean dude. Like, it reminds me of Isaiah Thomas the OG bad boy a lot. Like, if you really pay attention, the only time you see him smile is like when he complete a Hail Mary. Like, that's it. And other than that, the next play, he act like nothing ever happened. And I appreciate that about his game so much.
When the Cardinals got Kingsbury and when they drafted Kyler Murray, they took a risk. And that risk is paying off because through 2 weeks, the Cardinals have looked really good. Jalen, you know, I hate rooting against Jacoby's. I hate rooting against Jacoby's. But I'm also part of the Bills Mafia. And Bills Mafia for life until they lose. However, it was the Bills who had the Dolphins. I didn't even have to watch this one. I did not even have to. They were up by so many points. I did not even have to pay attention to this game because Tua went out, Jacoby came in, and the Dolphins had nothing for the Buffalo Bills yesterday.
Jacoby, I got some breaking news for you as I see you a part of Buffalo Bills Mafia. I'm pretty sure we're probably the only program in the history, I guess, of sports and entertainment that has had each member of the Locks, and we'll have each member of Griselda as Westside Gun has promised to join us since we moved to ESPN2 at 4 o'clock. The Miami Dolphins got waxed. And shout to Josh Allen. You know he's going to get a rushing touchdown. Shout to Stephon Diggs. You know he's going to catch for one. But I want to go back to my Tua point. And there was a point in time while we were talking about tanking for Tua, and I wanted my Lions to draft him. And going into this game, over the past few weeks, I've highlighted to you a couple of things that worried me about the longevity of him as their starting quarterback. Height is something you could get over. We saw Rivers, we saw Russell Wilson and Murray get over it, but he is challenged. And also an elongated throwing motion. It seems like when he gets hit, Jacoby, unlike Kyler Murray, he absorbs it. You don't see Kyler Murray taking those big hits. You know why? Because Tua isn't really fast. You see what I'm saying? So I anticipated something like this, unfortunately, and I hope he gets healthy. The Dolphins got shut out. It was great that Jacoby got a chance to play, but I hope this injury doesn't linger long term. But this is also when you're going to start hearing more about Deshaun Watson. And if those rumors get closer to being true, stay tuned.
Well, stay tuned because the Titans did not look good last week when they played the Cardinals, but they did look good this week when they played the Seahawks. King Henry is back on the throne. We'll talk about it. Coming to you live from the Seaport, brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, you picked the Titans as one of your teams to contend. They did not look good last week. However, Julio Jones looked good this week. Him and Tannehill connected multiple times. And, of course, Derrick Henry ran all over the Seahawks to get a big win for the Titans. What do you think about this performance?
17-game schedule, my brother. And we've seen some of the best teams in the AFC already have turbulence. KC lost yesterday. Buffalo lost last week. You get the point. The reason why I felt this way was because of their triplets. And I ain't talking about the quarterback either. I'm talking about AJ, Julio, and Henry. And you saw Julio yesterday, right? In the over 100-yard category, out there looking fresh and open with his new number. And then in the second half, once they got down a couple of touchdowns, they handed it off to our guy. They gave the king the crown. And before you know it, 3 touchdowns later, a couple of stiff arms later, they're back in the game. They're back leading. They have Seattle on their heels, and they take a victory.
When you look at King Henry's performance last week versus the Cardinals versus this week, you see what happens when you give him the ball. Last week, he had 17 carries. This week, he had 35 carries. Look at the yards. 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 yards every time he touched the ball. It was a crowning moment for King Henry yesterday against the Seahawks.
Jacoby,
Mr.
you know I
What's
like
that, Mr. Rose?
when things embody history in sports. Did that say 35 carries?
35 carries. In one
An
game.
actual 3 down back
Absolutely.
workhorse in 2021 in the era of load management? So refreshing, King Henry.
Jalen, I've got another number for you that's going to blow your mind, and that
What's
is
that?
the number of interceptions that Zach Wilson had against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. 4 interceptions for the rookie. He did not look good yesterday. Jalen, what'd you think about the 4 interceptions from Zach Wilson?
I think that Sam Darnold is 2-0 with the Cardinals, and he used to be their quarterback.
He's with the Panthers, but yep.
I mean, yeah, with the Panthers, Carolina, and they're 2-0, and he just threw 4 picks. Not good if you're the Jets. Not promising. But Belichick always does this against rookie quarterbacks. It's not fair. Like, what's Belichick's records against rookies? Like,
It's rude.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
rude.
rude, right? Yeah. We
It's
saw
like,
this
come on,
coming.
Bill.
We saw this coming.
Come on, Bill. We did see this coming. We all figured that New England would win, but however, I did not know it was going to be like this. 4 interceptions for Zach Wilson, who we hope gets better over time for New York. Jalen, the Raiders won a big game last week, and then they went up against the Steelers defense and won again. They are now 2-0. Are the Raiders for real?
I told you, fam, we got an open invite. We need to take the show to Las Vegas. Sit in the owner's suite like Charles Woodson. Hang out with Chucky post-game, especially if they win and have a couple of cold ones. Because I believe they were watching the show because I distinctly said,
You did.
throw the ball to Henry Ruggs. Like,
And deep. And they did it.
Like,
They did
dog. Hey, throw him the ball. And Waller, like, seriously, watching Kelsey and watching Kittle and watching Waller, and I hope Pitts grows into that category. This guy's a game changer at the tight end spot, basically being used as a receiver, and that was the catch of the game because Pittsburgh did a great job of corralling him and slowing him down. But for Pittsburgh, they still have not gotten back to their total identity. The defense has come and gone, but the run game has escaped them. The run game over the last few seasons, they cannot establish it. And that's why you take Najee in the first round. Now, he had a crazy stiff arm. And I want to give credits to the Raiders defense because the Raiders defense shut down the run of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he had a great stiff arm, a Hall of Fame type stiff arm. No doubt.
Najee Harris stiff arm right here is just and that's Jonathan Abram too. Like, that's a real defender that he used his offhand, his left hand, and put Abram on his back. Jalen, the time has come to discuss the game this evening between that man, Aaron Rodgers, the former MVP, and your Detroit Lions. Can the Lions get a win against a divisional rival? We'll discuss it right